Well, good evening, everybody. It's 7 o'clock. It's Tuesday, and we are live. Give me a second. Good evening. Come on in. Hey, Shantae, Diane. Come on, Tracy, Simone, Miss Ruth. I see you guys. Wow, I'm glad to be here tonight. I'm excited. I'm excited for everything that's going on, and I really want to talk to you guys tonight. Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for joining me, Rona. I see you. Good evening, everybody. I want to first say thank you guys for watching the Kooky Cooking Show. Hi, Dominique from ATL, Danielle's sister. I know who you are. Glad to see you. Listen, thank you guys for watching the Kooky Cooking Show, which is not a cooking show. Anyway, I wasn't expecting to be on there with him today, but he jumped in, just always jumping in. But listen, I want to talk to you guys tonight. I was debating, whether to come on tonight. Kind of like how I was with Kobe, not knowing what to share, not knowing what to say to everybody. Sometimes we have such an expectation of leadership, is sometimes a burden. Let me tell you why it's a burden sometimes for leadership, because people have an expectation sometimes that I think is too much and is too big. And oftentimes, show them a little bosom, little cleavage. But oftentimes what we should give to God, we make leadership responsible for on your job, in your family, at the church, in the community, with public figures. We tend to just give all the responsibility to somebody else. And it takes us out of the habit of having responsibility for ourselves. I see y'all laughing at me. It takes us out of the responsibility of the habit of being mindful of ourselves. And so as a result, we tend to always look to somebody else to save us. We don't even go to God until it is too late. And so I've been thinking this, pondering this in my mind for the last 3 days. Do I go live? Do I not go live? Do I address the people about it? Do I not say anything? What do I say? So God always gives a word for me. God always speaks. When you ask, God always speaks. And I said, God, give me what to say. Just going live, give me what to say. And he did. And I still tossed it around today. But I want to talk tonight about a time to pause. I want us to get in the habit of taking care of ourselves. And when I say taking care of ourselves, get in the habit of going to God. Get in the habit of hearing God. Get in the habit of seeking God. Get in the habit of God being your first choice. Get in the habit of calling on him before you call anybody else. Get in the habit of telling him when you don't talk to anybody else about something. Get in the habit of get in the habit of God being your source. Get in the habit of, if we don't have church for 3 more months, listen, you are good. We have people calling saying, well, when is church going to come back? And when is this going to happen? What if it doesn't come back for 6 months? I know I'm excited. And I know I'm excited. What if it doesn't come back for 6 months? And I said, Lord, what if church can't come back for 6 months? What will people do? What will we do? We've got to get in the habit of learning as the people of God to take advantage of the moment. Everything that you're supposed to have, God has already given it to you. And I'm really trying not to get excited because I want to get loud, and because this is big. It's so big with me right now. I want to really get loud and deliver this, but I'm really trying to focus. I forgot what Jasmine calls it. Jasmine Kelly calls it something. I can't even remember, but I want us to get in the habit of being good in God. I want us to get in the habit of taking advantage of the moment. If my moment is good, I'm going to take advantage of it. If the moment is bad, I'm going to take advantage of it. If the moment is in my favor, I'm taking advantage of it. If it looks like all hell is breaking loose and the deck is stacked against me, I've learned to take advantage of it. See, Paul said in Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. But we don't even look at the verses above that. Go to the scripture for Philippians 4, about 11, 12. And he says, I've learned the secret of contentment. And contentment, he says in one version, he says, I've learned in whatever state I'm in. The King James says, therewith to be content. But in one version, he says, I've learned the secret of contentment. Understand me. And my contentment does not rest in going to buy all the toilet paper because they might run out. My contentment does not rest in got to have a deep freezer in my garage. My contentment does not rest in need that extra refrigerator. My contentment does not rest in that. He says, I've learned the secret of contentment. And some of us are going to lose it in these next 3 weeks because your contentment was getting to a building. Your contentment was having somebody stand before you to tell you who God is. Your contentment rested in you getting to the church house and being entertained by people. And look at this. A whole lot of things went through my mind. God said, where is your contentment? He says, this is a moment of pausing. I'm not here to tell you the Lord showed me this in a vision and the Lord said he was going to do this. I'm not here to tell you this is what happened in Exodus and God is repeating that and he's covering all the saints. I'm not here to tell you all of that because some of the saints are in the midst of this and your money is still not right. Some of the saints are in the midst of this and because you didn't budget good, you're struggling. But I'm not going to go there tonight. That's a whole different lesson. But he says, I've been trying to teach you. I've been trying to teach you this. I've been trying to show you this. He says, it's a secret because most people don't know the secret. Or you know what has happened? Remember the game telephone? And we used to start out in a conversation on the game, the telephone, and by the time it starts going down and get all the way down, by the time that it got to the end of the line, the message was different. So see, God sent out a message, come on here, from his word. And by the time over generations and generations of all of us going to church and hearing the word, the message has gotten distorted. See, it was a secret for the people of God to be content and to be able to do all things through Christ who gives you strength. But somewhere down the line, the people passing the message, and it's our leaders and our teachers, we've lost the message of contentment. And therefore, we have a people of God that can't worship without us. They don't know how to serve without us. They don't know what to do when the church is closed. Listen. Just today, my husband and I get a phone call. I get a phone call. I go to the market, 2 phone calls. Go to the market, come back, get a phone call from a lady from Channel 4 News. We're interested. We would like to interview you and your husband for the 4 o'clock news tonight. Are you interested? I said, let me talk to my husband. Being the good wife that I am, I said, let me talk to my husband. My husband said, what do you want to do? I said, no. Because you're not calling your typical pastor and first lady. You don't know who you want to interview. She said, I want to talk to you about the reason you closed your church for the virus. And I said, we're not in a panic because we closed the church. We're not in a panic because we are afraid. We're in a panic because, 1, it was stated by the government, and 2, because people don't understand. But we're not in a panic. And I told her, I said, no, we don't wish to be. She said, are you sure you'll be on the news tonight? Lady, we're not trying to be famous. We're not trying to be important. We don't need people to see us. Understand what I'm saying? When you know the secret of contentment, you don't need to justify anything to anybody. Call somebody else that needs to be seen on TV. But we don't. The secret is contentment. He says, and you've got to learn that secret. So God says, he was telling me a few things. A few months ago, we were talking about the pastors. Pastors need a break. The pressure is too much for pastors. Pastors are committing suicide. How do you know this is not the break for them? How do you know that pastors aren't tired? How do you know that this is the moment? How do you know that this isn't the moment where you take that break, where you just sit back with your family and you turn that phone off and the people go to God for themselves? How do you know that this isn't that moment? Listen to me. We don't need to be before 1,000 people, millions of people talking about why we closed the church. We closed the church because it was government ordered. That's what was supposed to happen. But in the process, come on here, some pastors said, thank you, God. I needed the break and I didn't know how to take it. I'm going to take this moment to pause and pull myself together, to get my health together, to get my mind together, to get my strength together, to get my peace back. This is a time to pause. So let me ask you this. I got some things I want to share with you tonight. And so we're going to go to 8 o'clock. I want to share this with you. First of all, for those of you that are panicking and you've gone out and you bought all the toilet paper, y'all know it was a day when people didn't have no toilet paper. Come on here, somebody. For all of you that are going out and you are panicking and you buying it, some of y'all buying it to sell it to somebody else, but some people are buying it in a panic. And it blew my mind that I went in the store. Let me show you the deception. The news is showing there is no water. I go to the store to buy some water. People are buying the water that they buy. But we buy alkaline water. So I have 2 cases of alkaline water. And somebody said, they have the cheaper water in the back. So you mean to tell me you in a panic, but you choosing which water you want to buy? If I'm dying of thirst, if it's a shortage of water, I'm buying the water that they got. So it's not a panic. When you go in the store, the vegetable section is filled. People are buying what they like because y'all hear me tonight. We're not serious. We're in a panic. And you're going in the store and you're buying what you like, not what you need. Not really what you need. It's a panic. And it's a panic because you have no contentment. Hoarders. Come on here. Hoarders, we laugh and we joke about that, but that's not a good thing. You don't know the secret. You don't know the secret. He says, I've learned the secret of contentment. And I'm not going to buy more than I need, because when you get more than you need, you take from somebody else that has nothing. Listen to me. Listen to me. You take from somebody else that has nothing. And we don't even think like that. I just get more than I need. It's called greed. It's funny, it's cute. No, it's called greed. Because there's somebody that needs 1 and you have 17. It's a panic. It's a panic. And that's if you did it before now or doing it now. God is always in the midst. This might look like calamity. This might look like confusion. This might look like desperation. This might look like a mess. This might look like something to be afraid of. But I want to tell you this tonight. If you don't hear anything else I say after this, God is always in the midst. I heard Bishop Jake say, we see the moment and we get crazy. We only see the moment. We do everything for the moment. We do everything for the moment. He says God sees the future. Everything that we do is right now because we can't see tomorrow. Everything that we see, and if we are planning for tomorrow, it's only so far ahead that we can see. Listen to me. And we don't really know what tomorrow holds. We don't really know what's in tomorrow. See, we can plan for our moment, and my moment might be the next 40 years, but that's all the moment I can possibly see. I can't see past 40 years, and I'm not even sure of that 40 years. He said, but God sees the future. Why wouldn't you put your trust in somebody that can see all of it? I shared with someone today in mentorship, God wrote the whole story from beginning to end, and then he backed up. And he created us. And then he said, now I want you to start. And I just need you to let me guide you through the story because I've already written it. I know the pitfalls. I know the tragedies. I know your disappointments. I know your highs. I know your lows. See, I created your whole life to the end. And I backed up everything in backed you up and said, now start. Now, the only person that you can walk with that knows the beginning to the end of the story is God. God says, why don't you trust me? Why don't you get content in me? Why don't you walk with me? Stop doing it what you think is best. Stop having those sidebars where you step into your flesh and do those little nitpicky things. Come on here, that don't give him glory. See, we joke about a lot of things and we're passive on a lot of things, but a lot of stuff shows us where we really are spiritually. And this might not be so for everybody. So you can log off. You don't have to listen. But this is my time, and I'm talking to the people that are here. But we don't even see how serious it is. And we some stuff is funny until it ain't funny no more. And we create a habit of passiveness, of just being passive in this thing. God says nothing can happen in the earth that I'm not in the midst of. And if you are not connected to me, you out buying stacks and stacks of toilet paper and stuff like the world is coming to an end. If it was coming to an end, that wouldn't do you any good either. Listen to me. If it were coming to an end, that wouldn't make a difference either. The thing that would make a difference, come on here, is that you have a relationship with him. And this is the power in this thing. It ain't even about church. This is about the relationship. This is about the relationship. He says, I cause a disconnect to come to see what some people are going to do. He said, you don't need to panic. I'm always in the midst of it. You should already know that. And because you can't see him moving, because you don't feel him moving, it doesn't mean that he's not here. Because you can't see him moving, because you can't feel him moving, it doesn't mean that he's not here. Listen to me. And if you know him, you know that. He says, I'm not present. I'm everywhere at the same time, all the time. I'm not where you expect. I'm where I'm supposed to be, and that's everywhere. Come on here, somebody. So people are saying, is this God? This is a move of God. I've heard so much stuff that sometimes you have to log off. Because some preachers are saying, the Lord gave me a vision and I saw this coming. And some people are saying, the Lord gave me a vision. And they said that the devil was going to come in like this. And the Lord gave me. Everybody that heard something from God and it's different. If it's one God, who's right? Listen to me, somebody. If it's just one God, how you get a vision that this is God? And how did you get a vision that this is the devil? If it's just one God, who's right? Who's right? So rather than getting into all of that deep spiritual pool of whatever it is, I want to bring a question to you. I'm not here to tell you that, oh, this is a move of God from heaven, and I heard the Spirit say. I'm not here to tell you that because that ain't my business. That ain't my business. I don't know how he controls the sky. That's like me telling you why he made the sky blue or why he keeps the ocean at its borders. That's not my business, and I'm not here to step into his business like that. But what I am here to tell you is this. I want to ask you a question. What will you do with this time? This is a time to pause, and the time to pause takes us away from our regularly scheduled programming. You know how you watching TV and it interrupts the regularly scheduled program? That's all this is an interruption of the regularly scheduled program. Because at this time, a bunch of us, we would be running. We're doing something. We're living. We're living. We're living. We're doing life. We're doing whatever. But it's been interrupted. So I want to ask you a question. We can easily say, I'm waiting for, pastor to come on live. People have said, you guys going to go live and teach a sermon? No. You guys going to go live and do a Bible study? No. You come to the Bible study at the church. You're going to come to the Bible study online? No. Are we going to get together and do it? No. We're not. No. This is a time for you to take responsibility for you. This is a time of pausing for you to take responsibility for yourself. This is a time for you to take responsibility of your family. Are we still going to meet at council? Are we going to still, if your marriage falls apart in 3 weeks, shame on you. You should have been working on it. And no, it's not a shame that the church is not open and you can't counsel because, no, it's not. It's not a shame. You should have been working on your marriage long before the coronavirus came. You should have been working with your children long before the coronavirus came. So if your life falls apart in the midst of us not being able to connect, shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you. Can you guys still hear me now? Somebody said I'm breaking up on Facebook. Shame on you. At some point, you've got to take responsibility for yourself. So let me ask you this. This is a moment. This is a time. And this can be a moment that is valuable for you, or this can be a moment that causes you to panic. What will you do with this moment? This can be a moment that can be valuable to you. Some things can come out of this moment. Listen to me. Or this can be a time where you sit and worrying about what's going to happen to your life, how you going to do this, where the money's going to come from. You know, we've been saying for as certain black people, that's not my president. That's not my president. Man, he said today he's sending those checks. That's my president. That's my president. You're on an emotional roller coaster. If you saying send me my check and you've been saying that's not your president, that is your president if you live in the United States. But if you just now saying, you know what, send me my check, you're on an emotional roller coaster. Come on here, you in it for what you can get out of it. Listen to me. This is a time to pause. And this is a time of reflection. This is a time of a moment to grab some things. This is where God has said, I'm holding back the waters. This is the point where you stretch forth your rod, Moses, and you walk through on dry land. What will you do with this time? What will you do with this time? You can be in a panic if you want to be, and in the stores and whatever, but what will you do with this time? What will you do with the time? What will you do with the time? And it's going to be up to you to choose what you will do with this time. I don't know why you guys can't hear me on Facebook, but you're saying you can't hear me. I don't know why. Can you hear me now? What will you do with this time? Somebody say something on Facebook. Can you hear me now? So in this time of pausing, the only time we usually slow down is during a tragic time, when something sickness happens or some major interruption just stops us in our tracks. We usually don't have time for God. We usually don't have time to sit with our children about God. We don't have time to get our children to the church because we got practice and we got this. I don't know why I'm breaking up, you guys. I'm sorry. And this is Facebook. Can you guys hear me now? Somebody say something. Can you hear me now? 3 things I want to tell you. They said, yes, they can hear. Okay. 3 things I want to tell you about this pause. In the midst of a pause, there are a few things that take place. In the midst of the pause, if you have Instagram, go to Instagram if you can't hear me. In the midst of the pause, there are 3 things that need to take place. Am I still breaking up? I don't know why I'm breaking up. I'm sorry. The first thing, 4 things that need to take place in the midst of this pause. And I want you guys, my volume is up. Everything is up. You guys are saying you can't hear me. Go to Instagram. Go to Instagram. Natalie K. Owens. It's clear on Instagram. Go to Instagram if you can't hear. If you don't have Instagram, oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know what the volume problem is. Can you guys hear me now? It's still breaking up. Somebody says, I don't know why it's breaking up. Am I breaking up still on Facebook? I'm trying to hold my thought. 4 things. I'm going to tell you the 4 things. All right, am I still breaking up on Facebook? Can you guys tell me yes or no? Is it still breaking up? It's breaking up a lot on Facebook. You guys got to get to Instagram. I'm sorry. I don't know why it's breaking up. I don't know. It usually doesn't do this. Same connection. Turn my volume down, somebody said. Is that better? Is that better? My volume is down. Is that better? Can somebody tell me if it's better? I'm sorry, Instagram. We got technical difficulties over here. Is it still breaking up? Can you hear me better? I turned the volume down. Instagram is good. Okay, they said they can hear better. Okay, so 4 things I want to tell you that you should, that there's a process. Somebody said, I can hear you. Turn down my mic. I don't know how to turn down the mic. Y'all listen. Okay, here we go. 4 things I want to tell you in the midst of the pause. There are 4 things. It's a process for the pause. 4 things. The first thing is incubation, and I'm going to explain all 4 of them. The first thing is incubation. The second one is isolation. The third one is transformation. The fourth one is elevation. Somebody said it's not the volume, it's the feed, but I'm going to keep going. 4 things in the midst of a pause. We are in the midst of a pause, and you should see yourself going through this process. The first one is incubation. Incubation is the act or process of incubating. Look at this. It means to maintain a favorable temperature. Oh, come on here, somebody. That hit me like a ton of bricks. Listen. I know sometimes we might be in the fire right now. You might feel like you in the fire. You don't know what's going to happen with the job. You don't know what's going to happen with the children. Listen, it says to maintain a favorable temperature, and in other conditions, promoting development. It means to develop, to grow, to take form. Look at this. Incubation. And where do we remember incubation from? We remember incubation from babies being born, not being fully developed, and they have to go into incubation into a certain temperature to become warm in order to continue to grow. My daughter was incubated for several weeks at Children's Hospital, and incubation, come on here, causes the possibility of growth to take place, growth to continue. They liken this incubation chamber to the womb, because in the womb there is life. Listen to me. In the womb there is life. And so in this process of incubation, God says, I'm parting the waters, giving you an opportunity to walk through. Look at this. He says, and this is a stage of incubation. In this pause, I want you to take a minute. Ask yourself, how do I grow? What do I need to do to be better? I turn my screen around. No. Reagan, I need you. Reagan, I lost my feed. Can you guys still see me?
You flipped the camera.
What did I do? Turn me back around. I can't believe this. I can't believe this. I can't believe this night. Thank you. Oh my gosh. So incubation, this is crazy. This is so crazy. Incubation is the process where you start to grow. Take this moment and sit down. Make a list of where you've fallen short. Make a list of what you need to do better. Make a list of some things. Make a list of what do I need to do? How do I need to take this time and use this time to my advantage? I'm in the middle of a moment, in the middle of a pause. My whole life is stopped. And some of us have been saying, God, I'm so busy. God, I'm so busy. Lord, I got to do this, and I got to do this, and I got to do this. And God says, I'm giving you a moment. I'm giving you a moment to pause. I'm going to hold back everything for you. I'm going to hold everything back for you to give you a moment to put everything together, to pull your life together. He says, I'm giving you a moment. I'm going to hold up everything just because I love you that much. He says, some of you have been so busy and you don't feel like you have time to live. And God says, I'm holding everything back. I'm holding up the sea for you, Moses. What will you do in the midst of this time pausing? He says, I've incubated you. Come on here. I've set you aside. I've held everything back for you. He says, now some of us, he says, and in this incubation, guess what happens? There is also isolation. Now you are isolated. Isolation is what? The act or instance of isolating, to set apart, to set or place apart, to detach or to be separate, so as to be alone. Some of us can't live without being in the presence of other people. We got to get to all the events. We got to go to all the parties. We got to do all the stuff. We got to show people that we really love them because we got to show up. And God says, I'm isolating you. I'm pulling you back from everybody. You can't contact nobody. You can't sit in nobody's face. You can't get to the stuff. Some of us feel so obligated to other people. We got to show people that we love them because they need to see our face at the event. If you got to always be there, come on here. That's not what love is. God says for some of you, because you have focused so much attention everywhere else, he says, I'm isolating you. This pause is a moment of incubation for growth, and this pause is a moment of isolation. Come on here. He says, I'm separating you from everybody for a reason. Some of us have a problem with people walking out. Some of us have a problem with people not talking to us. Some of us have a problem with not being connected. You better get used to not being connected. I don't need to connect with everybody. Listen, the lady from the news tonight called us. I said in the beginning, from Channel 4 News, called me. Coming from the store, we'd like to interview you and your husband about why you closed your church for the virus. I said, ma'am, no thank you. We don't want to be interviewed. She said, are you sure? I said, I'm sure. You don't know you talking to Rayford Natalie Owens. We ain't worried about the virus, and we are enjoying. Come on here, somebody. We are enjoying the incubation and the isolation. We don't want to be interviewed. We don't sit in front of millions, but we sit in front of hundreds. And to sit in front of nobody is a good thing. No, we don't want to be interviewed. And she said, well, do you, I understand. I knew my answer when you called me. We're not trying to be important. We're not trying to be celebrities. You better understand, God, this thing happened for a reason. But as the people of God, we need to take advantage of the moment. We need to take advantage of the moment. Lady, we don't need to be in front of a camera. We're always in front of people. But personally, this is an opportunity for us to even take advantage. God said, I incubated you for growth. I've isolated you to separate you. Some of us can't hear God because we're always in the midst of everybody else, and you cannot hear him. He says, I got you isolated so you can just sit with your children. Some of us are upset that our children are at home. We're in a panic saying we don't know what to do with these children. They're your children. You don't have a plan for your children. You need to have a plan for your children every week. Every week, every week, every week. You need a plan for your children anyway. Don't let a virus show up to tell you you need time to focus on your children. He says, I'm isolating you for a reason. Isolation, look at this, is separating you. Sometimes we need to be so busy with our own lives that we don't have time to get to something else. He says, and now you can't. I'm holding back the waters. What will you do with the time? Don't complain that you've been isolated. Come on here. Use wisdom and take advantage of the moment. And then he says the next things that happens, if you understand you've been incubated for growth, isolated to be separated, come on here, so that you can hear God. And now he says transformation takes place. And transformation is the act of transforming, changing in form, changing in appearance, changing in nature, changing in character. How will you come out of this different? If you went into this and you were a whiner and you were a complainer, how are you going to come out of this? What are you going to come out? How are you going to come out different? Are you going to come out because your money fell short in this 3 weeks? Are you going to come out saving your money and not spending? Or are you going to come out, come on here, all that stuff that you got stored up, are you going to come out giving it away? Come on here, somebody. What are you going to do different? What are you going to do different? This is a moment of transformation. God says, I'm pausing. Life is paused for you. What are you going to do with it? I've incubated you for growth, isolated you because you had to be separated. He says, now let transformation take place. He said transformation is that change in form. Well, I can't go exercise. You can go outside and walk around your block. Start walking. Remember, you didn't have time to get to the gym because of your work schedule. You got time now. Transformation is to change and form. Start doing some sit-ups on the floor, some jumping jacks in the garage. I don't know. That thing called a burpee. Do some of those. But this is the moment to change form. It says to change appearance, to change your nature. This is a time to self-reflect, to look at me. How can I be better? How can I do better? How can I talk better? How can I live better? To change my nature. How do I change my habits in the process of this 3 weeks? I haven't had time to focus on what my bad habits are. Sit down and write what you need to get right, what you need to do better. And then it says a change in character. And you got to be honest with yourself. This is what I need to change in me. This is how I need to be better in me. Go get some books. Order some books. You can order books on Amazon, but what is it that you need to do to change the way you think? What is it that you need to do to better your faith, to strengthen your faith? What is it you need to do to be better? What is it that you need to do? This is the time of transformation. This isn't the time to sit worrying about if they're going to have this or worrying about if they're going to have that. And it's blowing my mind, the panic. This is blowing my mind, the panic. It's blowing my mind, the panic. And not the panic from the world. It's blowing my mind, the panic of the people of God. It's blowing my mind, the panic of the people of God that are hoarding. The people that they say believe in the God who created. This is a moment to pause and to reflect. How am I going to be different at the end of this? He says, I've incubated you for growth. I've isolated you because you needed to be away from everybody to hear me. And now I need you to transform. And now transformation needs to take place. How are you going to be better in the process of this? People are saying, are you worried about the virus? You worried about the... No, I'm not worried. No, I'm not afraid. We beat cancer twice. Cancer shows up. And if we didn't worry about cancer, we're not going to worry about the coronavirus. Now, mind you, we use wisdom. Come on here, because they don't need to be in the midst of a bunch of people. We use wisdom, but is fear here? No. Panic? No. If you've been doing a certain thing, a certain schedule, living a certain way, there is no panic. Some of you are concerned, some of you are, I need church. Shame on you. You better turn some music on. This is the moment. Listen to me. I've been trying to sing with my praise team for years at my church. Years at my church. I don't know what the spiritual discrepancy is with them. With them, their pastor. I don't know what the problem is, but I've been trying to get with my praise team for a long time to sing, get up there, worship, bring forth my gifts to the praise team. You hear me? And that has not happened. The Lord said, pause. Natalie, sing. I'm going to have church right here. I'm going to go live and we just going to worship one night. We just going to go live. And I'm going to just sing to y'all for like an hour. And y'all better not log off in Jesus' name. Don't log off, but this is my moment. I just believe God gave me this opportunity. I'm going to just go in and worship. And I'm singing all of those songs that Tasha, all Tasia, all them Chardonnay, all the people that, believe they sing better than me. I'm going to get up. I'm going to just sing all of them to y'all one night. And y'all better listen. Y'all better listen. Amen. God says this is the moment. This is the moment of growth. This is the moment of possibility. For all the time, listen, that we don't have time. This is the moment to start writing your book. This is the moment to sit down and do your business plan. This is the moment for you to start working out. This is the moment for you to sit with your children. This is the moment. There is no practice. There's no rehearsal. Sit your children down and ask them, tell me what you know about God. Tell me what you know about God in your life. Tell me what you know about God based on your experience. Tell me what you know about God. Sit your children down. Worship with your kids. Some of our children don't even know what worship is because we're so busy doing sports. We're so busy doing everything else. They know all of that, but they don't know God. And I'm talking to the people of God. I'm talking to the people of God. I'm talking to the people of God. What will you do with the moment? What will you do with the moment? What will you do with the time? Seize the moment. Little bitty cliche. Seize the moment. What will you do with the moment? He said, and after transformation takes place, he says elevation should take place. Somebody said this, we know the stock market dropped. Some people were prepared to take advantage of the drop. And some people weren't prepared to even buy food. Not because some people didn't have enough. Some people just didn't prepare because I don't need all that financial stuff. It ain't nothing going to happen to me. Here we are. And some people had an abundance, and some people felt, you know what, you have an abundance, you should give. And they do. They do. But you should have been prepared too. Remember the story in the Bible of the 10 virgins? 5 had oil and 5 didn't. And the 5, when the bridegroom came to get the brides, 5 of them were ready to go and 5 were not prepared. 5 were wasting time. And this is where people try to guilt you because you have an abundance. You're supposed to be a Christian. You're supposed to give. No. There was a peacetime. And there was a time to prepare for such a time as this. But the thing is, when we have no discipline, we have no focus, we have no, commitment to anything, we don't prepare. And because somebody did prepare, they should. The Bible says the 5 that were unprepared were left. And they asked the 5 with oil, can you give us some of yours? And some people got caught with their pants down. You understand what I'm saying? Some people got caught with their pants down. So should people feel bad for that? Should people feel bad? Should people feel bad? When as the people of God do we prepare? When as the people of God do we walk in wisdom? When as the people of God do we do everything the word of God says? For our children, for our marriages, for our money, for our health. Why do we wait until there is a crisis and now we have to do something? Why? It's time. This is a time to pause. This is a time to reflect. Ask yourself, if I wasn't together, what is it that I need to do to get better? If this happens next year, this time, how prepared will I be? What will I do different? This is a time of reflection. Look at this. And reflection is, John Maxwell says, reflection is evaluated experience. I'm going to take this experience and I'm going to pick this experience apart. Just like I did when my daughter got sick. God, I know my daughter is sick, but what are you trying to teach me in this? What is it that you need me to see through this process? Show me what it is that you want me to learn as I go through this process with my daughter. The same thing with this. Listen to me, people of God. Ask God, what is it that you want me to learn in this process? What are you trying to teach me financially? What are you trying to teach me socially? What are you trying to teach me pertaining to my health? What are you trying to teach me about governing my time? Because some of us waste time. And if you waste time, you probably waste money. Some of us are in the midst of everything, and we waste time. And you should be asking, God, this is a time of reflection. What should I be looking at? What should I be looking at? He says experience is not the best teacher. Evaluated experience is the best teacher. Take this experience and evaluate it. Go up, top to bottom, left to right, side to side. Go around this experience. God, what is it you want me to learn in this process? Somebody's going to come out of this with ministry. Somebody's going to come out of this with a business. Somebody's going to come out of this on the next level. God, what is it? What is the opportunity that should come forth for me in this process? What is it? If the opportunity is to have a better relationship with your children, that's the opportunity. If the opportunity is to get closer to your mate, that's the opportunity. If the opportunity is for you to be able to grow and be in a better place, that's the opportunity. If the opportunity is for me to sit down and get my money together so that next time I'm ready, that's the opportunity. Lord, what is the opportunity that you need me to see in this moment? If the opportunity that you stand up and be the leader that you're supposed to be in your family, that's the opportunity that he wants you to take. God, what is it that you're trying to show me in this moment? Stop watching the news and getting that information. If you can sit and watch the news, you can talk to God and get information. You can open his word. You can open a book. John Maxwell got some great reads. Open a book. Open a book. I'll give you a list on my Facebook page and my Instagram page of books that we could read over the next 3 weeks. God, what is it that you're trying to teach me? What is it that you want me to learn? What are you trying to show me? What is my lesson personally in this moment? Turn off the news. Turn off the TV and just ask God, God, what is it that I should be knowing right now? Let me take this moment of pausing to my advantage. Pull your children aside one by one and have a good conversation with them. I dare you. It's easy to, okay, we're going to give them more schoolwork. That's good too. But pull them aside and just sit with them for an hour. We have nothing but time. How will you grow from this? What will this provoke in you for your next level? For the next level, for the next part of your life, for the rest of this year? What will this provoke in you? What will this do for you? What will you learn from this moment? Because I guarantee you there's something to learn. He said, this is a time to pause. I've slowed your whole life down. How will you take advantage of the time? How will you take advantage of the time? You don't need another Bible study. Come on here. Go to all your notes from the previous Bible studies and read them and start doing them. We always take notes. We don't ever go back and read those notes. Get all those notes from the previous sermons. You don't need a sermon online. If you don't hear another sermon, you've heard more than enough. If you don't get another sermon, go over all of those notes that you've had from previous sermons and do what they say. You don't need another sermon. You don't need another pastor getting online to encourage you in the midst of this. You don't need that. God said, I caused a pause for a reason. Shut it off so you can hear me. How do you know I'm not transitioning you from hearing their voice to hearing my voice? Turn it on. Hey, I'm back really quick. Really quick. I hope everybody jumps back on. But I'm back really quick. Really quick. I want you guys to remember this. And I'm going to wrap it up. 3 things in the midst of the pause. 3 things in the midst of the pause. Incubation, isolation, transformation, and elevation. Thank you guys for coming back. 4 things in the midst of the pause. Remember, we're in the midst of the pause. God is just holding up life. Life is still. And I'm asking you the question. We're not putting the responsibility on somebody coming online. You know, church is closed. Most churches are closed. And the one thing the news lady said when she called this evening, she said, yeah, well, most African-American churches are open. I want to know why you guys closed. Because it was government ordered. Obey the laws of the land. And we can say we believe God and all of that. But listen to me. I just believe. I'm not telling you that this is God ordered. I'm not telling you that the devil did it. What I am telling you tonight is take advantage of this time. Please take advantage of this time. Incubation is the process of growth. God is giving us an opportunity to do something with the time. Grow. Isolation. Some of us can't live without being around other people. Your life is so much other people that you don't even know what your own life is. He says, I'm isolating you for a reason. Some of us need to be important on our jobs. Some of us need to be this at our church. We need to be this to other people. And God is saying, I'm isolating you for a reason. What will you do with the time? Isolation is also sometimes for your protection. He says, I'm separating you for a reason. And then the next one is transformation. And transformation is to change in form, to change in appearance, to change in nature, to change in character. What are you going to do with the time? Incubated we are, isolated we are, and now transform we should be. Right? What will we do with the time? Some of us are going to go through these 3 weeks, through this time, however long this time is, and we're going to come out the same. Some people are going to come out and they're going to elevate. They're going to a next level. They learn some things. Take some time to read some books. Find out what you need to know. Don't waste a whole lot of time sitting on social media doing nothing. I don't know what we did before social media, but we're so busy to have everybody know what's going on with our lives. Who did you tell that to before? What did you do with that extra time? It's kind of like, what did we do before we had cell phones? You didn't talk to people in the car. You couldn't talk to people in the car. You couldn't talk to anybody from here to their house. We call people, we FaceTime, all of this stuff in the car. You didn't do that before. So what will we do with this time? This is a very basic time. Some of us are saying, Lord, my kids are home. These kids, do something with your children. Do something productive with your children. And schoolwork is good, but give them more than that. Give your children some substance. Give them something. Don't just sit them in a room and put them over there, but do something with your children. There's no practice that you have to complain about going to and sitting out there in the cold or at the gym. There's no practice. There's no game. So what will I do with my children? Get in the kitchen and cook with your maid and videotape it so I won't have to cook with mine. I don't know. But do something. What will you do with the time? That's the most important thing. God has given us opportunity. He slowed life down for us. Come on here. And now it's time to do something with it. Will you take advantage of the time? This is a time of reflection. And John Maxwell said, this is a time. Reflection is evaluated experience. And this is how I ended the video, Instagram. Reflection is evaluated experience. Take this experience and evaluate it. Evaluate this moment. God, what is it that you want me to learn from this? What is it that you're trying to show me personally? What is it that you're trying to teach me? I call it the why to the what. We know what is happening, but God, can you tell me my why in it? Listen, it's the why to the what. We often get overwhelmed with the what. But just asking, God, what is my why in this? What is my reason in this? What is my opportunity in this? What is my lesson in this? What is it that you're trying to teach me in the midst of this thing? I got some time to just sit and reflect. Make sure it's evaluated. It's evaluated. Make sure you evaluate this experience in this time of pausing, right? What is it, God? What is it that you're trying to show me? What is it that you're trying to teach me? Reflection, John Maxwell says, turns experience into insight. What is it that I should see inside of this, God? There's sight, and then there is insight. Sight is what I just see with the naked eye and my mind believes it. But insight allows me to go behind the scene. God, I know what this is. I know what's before me. I know what I can see that's direct. That's the why. But God, give me that's the what. What I can see direct is the what. But God, give me insight. Show me my why in this thing. God, I know what it is, but give me insight. Show me my why in it. Show me what my reason is. Not the whole church, not the movement of God, because sometimes when it gets too big, we get lost in the crowd. I want you to make it personal. God, what is my why in the midst of this coronavirus? The what? What is my why, God, in the midst of this pause? What is my why? Everything is shut down. I can't run and meet anybody nowhere. I can't run and get this. God, what is my why in the midst of this what? This is reflecting. This is evaluating this experience. He says an experience gives you insight into some things. Ask God for a deeper view. He'll give you a deeper view. He'll show you. He'll show you. Listen, he'll show you. How will you grow from this? What will you pull from this experience? Other than you being off. This isn't the time. He says, it says in transformation to change and form. Not the other change. Let's decrease change. Right? What have you shared with your children? That's big for me. That's big for me. Just taking a moment. What will you learn from this moment? Take advantage of the time. Listen. Take advantage of the time. Take advantage of the time. Remember what I told you in the beginning. God is always in the midst. Because you don't see him, even because you don't feel him, it does not mean that he is not there. It doesn't mean that he's not there. God is always in the midst. He's omnipresent and he's everywhere at the same time. And because it is a panic to us, it is never a panic to him. Proverbs 3:5, it says, trust in the Lord with all of your heart. With all of your heart, trust in him. No need to panic. No need to worry. No need to hoard and shop. Don't buy more than you need. I said earlier, because you cheat somebody from the one thing that they need because you've got an abundance of it. An abundance of it. Don't get more than you need. Get what you need. But what will you do with the moment? What will you do with this time? This is a moment of self-reflecting. This is a moment of personal growth. This is a moment of personal responsibility. This is a moment of taking responsibility for me emotionally, for me physically. Come on here. For me spiritually. Your pastor can't get to you. Your pastor's not coming. He's not going to do a sermon and a Bible study online. Come on here. Go back to the ones you've already received. This is a moment of self-growth. They don't incubate two babies at one time. Unless they're born together, unless they were in the womb together. But this is a moment of incubation, a moment of isolation. Come on here. A moment of transformation for the purpose of elevation. Some people can go through tragedies and they come out on the mountaintop. And some people been in the valley and they go into tragedy and they come out in the valley because they don't go through the process. You got to go through the process. There is always a process with God. There is always a process with God. There is always